All right, we're out in nature today, okay? I actually made it outside. It has been raining for 3 to 4 days and the sun, look at this sun ray right here on my screen. I have viewed the sun with my own eyes. It does exist, even though it has not felt like that in days, okay? All right, so we're in 7B, that's zone 7B. It is April 4th, 2024. It's 41 degrees right now, and the weather has been quite the day, let me tell you. It has been raining, as I said, 3 to 4 days now. This morning it was partly cloudy, sunny, and then that went away, and then it rained and thunderstormed with a spot of snow. All in one day, guys. Now the sun is back out, so that's pretty typical for Maryland weather. I am in my work clothes with paint all over my legs here. I am been in the garage painting the second hive, but this is the first hive. So as promised, Dad, we're gonna do a tour of the hive. Don't ask me what the measurements are, Dad, please. I know you've asked me this several times. I don't remember, but I can tell you it's on horizontalhive.com. Okay, listen, if we need to, the next time we meet up at your house, we will pull these plans up if you absolutely need to know the measurements. But I'm telling you right now, they're on there. Okay, I love you so much. Don't ask me. Okay, so that being said, let's jump in. All right, so the front of the hive, pretty regular looking. We did metal flashing. It was scrap, like remember how we talked about saving money in the last video? This was scrap flashing that we had. It was very bent. The roll was very bent up. We did our best. It's got some spots that stick up right here. It's okay. It is what it is. There's no water getting under there. This bottom half actually kind of comes up and goes over the back end. So no water is getting under here. It comes right here. It is hinged. It's got 3 doors, although I don't know why I'm going to actually use the middle door. I'm going to use these 2 hives that we've created this year with the middle door. But if I find that I'm not actually using this middle door, I'm just going to nix it and get rid of it for the future hives being built and just leave the 2 doors on each end. And that way, if I'm splitting a hive or doing any sort of hive manipulation, I can put a follower board here in the middle within and sort of have 2 hives on either end while I'm trying to figure out if I want to move it to a nuke or sell it or whatever. I have that option. So that's what we have going on. It has these sliders right here. In the sliders, it's just cheap pieces of metal here. This closes and opens the door. I don't know how, I'm going to be honest with you, I don't know how this is going to go, these pieces of metal, being that they're so somewhat thin, because I understand that the bees are probably going to propolize it from the inside. It's going to make it more difficult to close and open. But again, this is kind of a learning experience as I go, so we're going to figure that out. Has landing boards, and that's pretty much the front of the hive. All right, so here is the hive. And I'm just thinking about this now. I know the frame of this is very tight, and that is because you are as close, like you are up against the apiary fence. I can't get you any farther out, and I don't have like a wide angle lens feature on my phone. So Dad, you're gonna have to pretend like you're literally standing right next to me in the apiary working bees with me. And oh my gosh, it's cold out here. 41 degrees. It's too cold for me to be out here. Okay, let's get started. It is on a hinge. It has this chain resistance right here. We have wooden slats that cover the frames. There is this little plug right here. So if you see this wooden slat right here, it has a hole in it. And this is where my feeder is going to go. Let me go grab that. This is my rapid round feeder. It's got a little hole here. You can fill the inside with whatever feed you want. I can take this out and put like a fondant in, and then they can kind of get in here and eat. Or I can put this on and fill it with sugar water, and then the bees can come into this like up through the bottom, but they can't get into the base of it, so they won't drown. So that's my rapid round feeder. When I'm not using the wraparound feeder, which I will be often, because Maryland only has one major honey flow, the slats are just sitting on top of the frames. What I like about the horizontal hive is that I don't have to take apart the entire body if I want to do whatever I want to do. So bees will naturally put, I think I'm going to start from this side, this entrance right here, and the bees will naturally put their brood closest to this entrance and then move this way with their honey as they would if they were vertically. So brood at the bottom, honey at the top in a vertical hive. In this orientation, they're going to come with brood at the entrance and honey this way as they move sideways. So if I was just harvesting honey, then I would pick up these slats down here and harvest my honey without having to take apart the hive body or disturb the bees too much. And if there's still bee space between the bottom of the slats and the top of the frame, so they still have room to go up and over the frames if they want. And if I was doing an inspection, I wouldn't have to touch the honey or take apart the entire hive body to get down to the bottom like you would a vertical. I would just open these slats down here and go in for an inspection for the brood down this direction. So this is my foundation. I'm using, I'm trying to use black plastic wax coated frames down here, hoping that it'll help me better see the eggs, and use the light beige colored wax foundation, not wax foundation, but plastic wax covered foundations down this direction. More so, not because you can't see the honey, because you can tell that there's honey and pollen in there, but I think it would be fun and easier for me to be able to see what color the honey is in a lighter colored frame. That's the plan. These are my goals. I'm not saying that they'll always work out, but these are goals to have, and that's what I'm going to go with. Who knows if it'll actually play out, but we're going to try. Anyways, so the frames slide. I do have, let me see, I have a follower board in here. My follower board looks like this. It is very tight, and it didn't end all the way at the bottom, so we had to add this piece to the bottom here. It does reach all the way to the bottom. However, as you can see, I mean, I know you don't want the bees to like bypass it because it's a follower board, but dang, is it tight. But I guess you don't want the bees to go through it, right? So that's a good thing. But also, when they propolize it, I don't want it to be so tight that I can't freaking move. I can't get in. So we're going to see how that goes. But I kind of been thinking, I saw this one YouTube channel where they had a handle on the side that they wanted to move it, and then they would just kind of put it in, and then they would be able to move the handle. So I don't know, that might be another future thing we'll work on. Since we've built these frames, they are the body, it has bowed a lot, like I told you. My conversations with my dad. And so we've had some trouble with having to sand down the sides so that the frames slide easy. It's kind of like that, and it does have a little bit of wiggle space, but not as much as I'd like. But it does seem to be okay now. I'm glad that I'm actually coming in here because it did rain for 3 to 4 days, and I just wanted to make sure that there was absolutely no water or moisture coming into the hive, especially from the front. And well, I guess the doors were closed, but I still wanted to make sure that, like, I've got these vents up here, and I wanted to make sure that there was no rain coming into the sides or anything like that. So everything seems good, which is great. I'm glad to see that. So, and then when I'm all done, I can put the slats back on. It's so pretty now, kind of like I just know that it's gonna but once the bees get in here, it's gonna be a mess again. So, as they do, but I guess this is all for them. What I like about these slats, my brother actually cut these slats, and they're old, they're rough, They're not smooth. They're from, I believe, old pallets. And they have these holes. And the bees will likely propolize those holes closed. But I do think that they'll help with ventilation of some sort if the bees don't touch them. So, all right, awesome. Plug in. This is something I'm gonna have to be aware of, is that the slats, even though they are weathered, they also sort of bowed. So they don't fit. Is my mic hitting? So they don't fit entirely too as tight as I'd like them to. But if you space them out just enough, it's enough that the bees can't fit through there. So, which is good. Now, say I close this hive up. Okay, let me go, hold on, I'll be right back. Let me get my rapid round feeder. I'm just gonna put this in there anyways. Bees do what bees are gonna do, and bees are just gonna be all over this thing. So when they get stuck up top and I can't get them to go down, that's okay, because I can close the top, and the top does go all the way around here. It encompasses this, which I'm kind of happy about, because I know that moisture won't get in there, and it will help with the windbreak in the wintertime. So I have this little plug right here. Let's see if I can get it open, because, oh, there we go. This little plug right here, this is a hole. It's so that if the bees happen to get stuck in the top part of this roof while I'm inspecting it, they'll likely fly towards the light source. And if I leave this hole open and just let the bees out and then close it back up. So that's a little modification that we did. All right, so the other modification is for my pest management is this bottom piece here. It has a little hinge, and this is where my trays will go. I will fill these with oil, and that way the small hive beetles that live in hives will fall through the grate of the bottom, the screen, and into the oil and die. I know it's so harsh, but we don't like the small hive beetles in our hives, so that's what's up. And when I'm not using it, I can close it. Let me check. No moisture coming in. It's a good day to check that since it's been raining. So that's good. No moisture coming in. Love to see it. All right. So that is closed up. I wanted to mention that also on this side of the hive, we modified this part, and we put this little board here. It doesn't look like much. It's tacked to the side of the legs. However, what's cool about it is a frame holder, actually. This is just big enough that a frame holder will fit to be inserted in here. The prongs will be sticking out. And as I'm doing my inspections of the frames, I can hang my frames here on this frame holder that'll be there, and continue on with my inspections, which is pretty neat. And that's basically the hive. I don't think there's anything else to share. That is the design, Dad. And I think it's pretty cool. Wish you were here with me, but I'm glad that I get to share this with you. So I hope you like it.